This week's slate of games feature 2 top 25 matchups and 7 top 25 teams in total. We got a monster clash in the DMV area, a huge Texas showdown, a matchup of 2 big-time Detroit schools who are both 5-0, but the game of the week features Florida power St. Thomas Aquinas traveling to Las Vegas to take on the #1 team in the country, the Bishop Gorman Gales. And hey, we've had this game circled on the calendar since it was announced back in March, and we are finally days away. St. Thomas Aquinas entered the 2016 season as the #1 team in the country, but thanks to a controversial season opening loss to Booker T. Washington, they dropped a little bit in the rankings, but they have bounced back strong with 3 straight victories since that loss, and they have outscored the opposition 133-6. And if it wasn't for a missed call on Trayvon Grimes' potential game-winning touchdown against Booker T, this would be a 1-versus-2 matchup on Friday night. The Raiders enter this one as one of the most talented teams in the country, led by 5-star wide receiver Trayvon Grimes. Grime Time checks in as the #3 wide receiver in the 2017 class on 24/7's player composite rankings, and his quarterback, Jake Allen, is one of the best gunslingers in the country. The 2017 Florida commit is the #10 quarterback in the 2017 class. Bishop Gorman entered this season with arguably the hardest schedule in the country over the last 5 or 6 years, and they have won every game by double digits so far in 2016. And St. Thomas Aquinas is the last big-name out-of-state opponent on the schedule, with all Nevada opponents upcoming for the Gales after this. Now, the list of opponents Gorman has already beat includes Texas Power, Cedar Hill in Texas, SoCal Power, St. John Bosco in Southern California, Hawaii Power, Kahuku, and Cocoa, one of the top teams in all of Florida. And when it comes to talent, Kenny Sanchez's squad is arguably the most talented team in the country, and it all starts with their 4-star quarterback, Tate Martell. The 2017 Ohio State commit has never lost a game as the starting quarterback for the Gales, and Bishop Gorman has won 44 consecutive games in a row, tied for the 4th longest active winning streak among all 11-man football teams. And so far this year, he has thrown for nearly 1,000 yards with a 13-0 touchdown to interception ratio, and he also checks in as the 2nd leading rusher on the team with over 400 yards rushing and leads the Gales with 6 rushing touchdowns. His partner in crime, 5-star wide receiver John Lindsay, is finally back. The 2017 Ohio State commit made his season debut last week, and he had 2 touches, and yes, you guessed it, he scored both times he touched the rock. On defense, the Gales are loaded with playmakers led by 4-star Ohio State commit Haskell Garrett, 2018 commit Palalei Gaotioti, and 4-star safety Bubba Bolden. Get your popcorn ready for this one. This is going to be a big-time game. Bishop Gorman is 1 win away from completing one of the toughest non-league schedules we've ever seen, and St. Thomas Aquinas wants to prove they are still the best team in all of high school football. From one top 25 matchup to another, the #9 team in our excellent 25 rankings, presented by the Army National Guard, DeMatha, locks horns with the Michael Jordan of our top 25, #23 St. John's. The DC Power jumped back into the rankings after an impressive 39-22 win against one of the best teams from Maryland, Good Counsel, last week. This is definitely DeMatha's toughest test of the season, but trust me, Elijah Brooks' squad will be ready to roll Friday night against the DC Power. 2017 Air Force commit Bo English has led the way offensively for the Stags, and he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country. And 2017 Ohio State commit Chase Young is one of the best overall players in the country. The 5-star defensive end checks in as the 2nd-rated weak-side defensive end in the 2017 class on 24/7's player composite rankings, and bragging rights will be on the line in the DMV area as DeMatha enters this one as the top-rated team, and St. John's is #2 in the Washington Post Top 20. The city of Detroit has one of the biggest rivalry games of the weekend, and it makes it even bigger when both teams enter it 5-0 as #15 Cass Tech hosts King High School Saturday at noon. Cass Tech has one of the top recruits in the country balling for them as Donovan Peoples-Jones checks in as the #1 wide receiver in the 2017 class, and DPJ showed his versatility last weekend as he scored 3 touchdowns, a pick 6, a fumble return, and a 20-yard touchdown reception. But hey, King's got a big-time playmaker too in Ambry Thomas. The 4-star defensive back checks in as the #2 recruit in the state, And just like DPJ, he is one of the best two-way players in the country, and this might be the best one-on-one matchup of the weekend. Lamar Jackson won't be the only thing trending in Louisville this weekend, as one of the best high school football rivalries go down Friday night as number 22 Trinity locks horns with St. Xavier for the 22nd time over the last 13 years and 81st time overall. Trinity has dominated the season series recently as they have won 10 of the last 11, and they enter this one with a ton of momentum after scoring on all 10 possessions last week against Jeffersontown in a 70-0 shutout victory. Two of the top high school football programs from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro face off in another Texas showdown as South Lake Carroll hosts Euless Trinity, and both of these teams have combined for 11 state titles. Carroll is tied with Katy for the Texas record with 8 state crowns. And a couple names to keep tabs on for this game is Carroll's 4-star safety Robert Barnes is big time. The 2017 Oklahoma commit is one of the top two-way players in the Lone Star State, and Trinity's 4-star safety Cameron Jones is one of the best playmakers in the state. He is committed to ball for Cliff Kingsbury and Texas Tech at the next level. Speaking of big-time talent, Jeff Thomas and East St. Louis lock horns with AJFN and Edwardsville in a matchup of the number 1 and number 2 teams in the St. Louis area, and both teams are 5-0 entering this contest. Thomas checks in as a top 10 wide receiver in the 2017 class and is the number 2 rated player from all of Illinois. The only player rated higher than him in the state? Yeah, you guessed it. It is Epinesa. The 5-star defensive end is committed to play for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and he also checks in as the top-rated strong side defensive end in the 2017 class. One of the newest teams in our excellent 25 rankings presented by the Army National Guard, Bergen Catholic faces another tough Jersey team in St. Joseph Regional this Saturday. And if the Trinity League down in SoCal isn't the toughest conference, it is because of the North Jersey Super United Red Conference. It is absolutely stacked with some heavy hitters, and the winner of this one puts themselves in the driver's seat to a conference championship. California IA has a big-time showdown also as San Jose Power Bellarmine College Prep travels to Mountain View to face St. Francis. The Lancers are hoping to continue its perfect season, but they will need to snap Bellarmine's 11-game winning streak against them on Friday night if they want to keep that O on that side. The last 2 games this weekend feature a big-time Pittsburgh clash and a monster game in the Phoenix area as Brophy Prep tries to start a season 7-0 for the first time since 2011 against Hamilton, a team that has beat them 8 straight times. And first place in the Northern 7 Conference is on the line in Pittsburgh as Pine Richland and Central Catholic enter this one with identical 4-1 records. And hey, I know it's been a tough year for Notre Dame, but this game is loaded with some Notre Dame commits. 2018 Fighting Irish commit Phil Jurkovic is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The 5-star Pine Richland quarterback checks in as the number 2 dual-threat QB among all juniors, and Central Catholic is loaded with some of the best talent in the area, led by 2 2017 Fighting Irish commits and 4-star inside linebacker David Adams and 3-star defensive tackle Kurt Heinisch.